yeah, that is hot. Starting things off with a little bit of some of that action, some nonstop to Cairo action. Special thanks and shout out to them. Follow them at nonstop to Cairo. You'll thank me later once you start checking that band out because they are amazing. And what is happening, everybody, today? It's Blitz Week 1. We are back finally. It has been too long, far too long. But I got my man with me. I got Justin. Welcome back, at Justin. How we doing, brother?
Wonderful. Great to be back on the Blitz. It's I think I missed like the last week or two of last season, and I jumped on later in the season, so I wasn't a full-time guest for you last year. But I'm kind of excited about 1 hour every Sunday morning, just talking starts, sits, and updates. This is gonna be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And then on my left here, I got my man Alex OFF. What is happening, Alex? How we doing today, bud?
Doing great. Week 1 NFL, ready for it to kick off. That Bucks Dallas game was pretty exciting start. So because it was such a big start, you got to temper the expectations because not all the games are going to look like that today. But I'm hoping the Packers-Saints game is going to be a bit of a shootout like that. So that'll be an exciting game. Rodgers usually puts on a pretty good show week 1. So.
Well, and especially an angry Rodgers too on top of it. So that should help us out. Like I definitely have Aaron Rodgers rocking everywhere I possibly can. That includes my daily lineups. That includes all of them just because I feel like Aaron Rodgers angry coming out the gate is tough to beat. What about all the news right now? Like I know, we're talking a lot about like say Baltimore running backs and that every free agent, I think, basically signed up on the Baltimore team. But they'll sit there and tell you with a straight face that Tyson Williams. There we go, man. Like they've just gone through so many running backs this year. I couldn't remember, but Tyson Williams is going to be your guy, right? Like, so does that send a positive message to you guys? Would you be happy if they just signed like 5 other running backs right after they said you're the man?
Well, I mean, besides Tyson Williams, I don't think they had like just like a practice squad guy. So they needed bodies in there. So that doesn't really deter me. Tyson Williams has been the guy at camp all summer long. He's the one who's gotten all the reps that he can possibly get. Murray just got signed. All these guys just got signed last week, and Bell and Freeman aren't even off the practice squad. So, I mean, I'm rolling with Tyson. I don't actually think I have him, but I would if I had him. I think he's going to have a solid floor, at least for this week. Maybe ceiling will be capped because Lamar's still the RB1 in Baltimore. But I think he'll get the majority of the snaps.
Yeah, I knew we were going to lead off with this question. It's the big issue right now for week 1 and moving forward too, because this Ravens offense is structured and built around the run, and we all know that a huge amount of that is Lamar. But historically, the running backs have at least gotten a lot of carries, so it is still a key role to have in fantasy football. So yeah, Tyson Williams, I'm perfectly okay with having him because you were able to get him most likely off of waivers already, off of Fab or whatever. So you already own him. You already have him. I would have no trouble with flexing him for week 1 and then wait and see what happens. But as far as the other guys go, I feel like you need to roster somebody because there's so many opportunity, whether it be Freeman or Le'Veon Bell. You need to roster one of them and see who ends up making that roster and who ends up making the impression to get some extra carries. I don't think it's going to be Cannon. I think they're just pretty much bringing him on for special teams purposes, but most likely to be Le'Veon Bell, and he'll get some carries and he'll be rosterable. But honestly, I don't expect too much out of him.
See, Murray's the guy that I would want to own because he's been in the league. He was at least conditioning all summer long. He's the last guy. He actually had, game reps last year, at least a decent amount. Bell got some. Freeman didn't really get any game reps either. So I would actually want to roster Murray if any of them.
Yeah, I agree. I was saying that there's going to be somebody else though.
Oh yeah.
Because we were talking at the onset of all the guys that they've picked up and added to the roster and everything. So I thought we were talking about those practice squad guys who's going to actually have the ability. So no, I agree 100%. Yeah, Murray's definitely going to be. I still think it's going to be Tyson as the main guy, just because he's been there. But just like you said, but yeah, if I'm going to have a guy that I'm going to roster that I'm going to hold and just wait and see what happens between the two, it's going to be Le'Veon.
Yeah, no, I think Le'Veon, this guy always disappoints. You know, I mean, like ever since he got out of that Pittsburgh uniform, he's done nothing but hurt himself. And it just doesn't seem like he'll ever be that same guy. I'm really not too worried about him. I really do kind of expect fully to see Latavius Murray take over that backfield, be the number one back on that team. He's just so talented. And this is kind of like, to me, his first real chance of getting that opportunity. So I'm thinking that's the way to go right there. I think Latavius Murray would be the guy I grab point forward. But I think this week right here, I'm really happy with Williams. I think he's going to be pretty on fire. And just to let you know, we're gonna start call-ins probably about week 3, week 4. It's really not worth it. You don't really get too many calls for the first one, but definitely, Chris, if you want to ask a question, and that's my homie Professor Chris from the Sleeper Wire show right there. Definitely pop them on here, and we'll definitely be glad to answer them right now. And we'll pop into a few of the ones that we already kind of have on the slate here. So what do you got? Would you take Mike Davis or Josh Jacobs today?
Ooh.
For me, it's Mike Davis. Personally, I've never been huge on Josh Jacobs, and I know that he's a decent, solid play, but I just think Mike Davis is going to get all the opportunity. So I've got to feel strong about him.
You have Mike Davis. He's facing a team that can stop the run, but I don't know. I feel like the volume play is there for me too as well. I think I like Mike Davis here. What about you, Alex?
I'm going to have to go Josh Jacobs. I know they're facing Baltimore, and I know Mike Davis is only going up against the Eagles, but I think Josh Jacobs is just more talented. I know it'll be a volume play for Mike, but I think Jacobs still has the greater opportunity to get all of the carries in week 1. You know what? Now that I'm talking it out, I think I might be wrong. I think I am going to go with Mike Davis because Jacobs doesn't get a lot of touchdowns in losing games, and they're going to be playing Baltimore. So they're going to, the Raiders are going to be probably behind. So I don't know. That's a tough one. But
if it helps, whenever I was guesting on this show last year, I found that it was a lot easier if the other two had already committed to one guy to just go ahead and go with the other guy. That way, as a team, we gave good advice if I was wrong. But if I'm right, I was the one that was right.
Well, that's why when you guys both said Mike Davis, I was like, oh, well, I kind of like Josh Jacobs. So, but then as I started talking it out, maybe the situation isn't as good for Jacobs as I would hope. But I don't know. It's week 1. I think Jacobs is a better player. So I think I would have. I think I'd still put him in. It would be tough, but I think he would be my play.
What happened to Josh Jacobs? Like, where am I at with that guy? Like, what am I missing with Josh Jacobs? Like, I feel like he should still be this dominant back in that team.
I've always felt like Kenyon Drake was underrated, and now he has. I feel like they brought him in for a reason.
Yeah, but I don't know. The Raiders do weird things, and I think they just brought him in because they didn't like Richard. He's definitely going to be a more dynamic pass catcher out of the backfield, but I think Jacobs is still going to get the majority of the carries. Now, but he did well with that the last 2 years. He wasn't really. There were other guys coming in and taking carries away from him, or touches away from him. So I think Jacobs is still going to be pretty safe. A solid RB2, if not a low end RB1. I mean, he was an RB8 last year by the end of it.
I think both of them are going to have a safe floor for you this weekend, though. And one of them because Jacobs is more talented, and the other because Davis will get all the opportunity. So I think either way, you at least have a safe floor there.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a live one here. We got a 12-team PPR super flex. Everyone else went quarterback heavy, so we started with Zeke, Kelsey, Hopkins, and Keenan. As quarterbacks are Ryan Wentz, Tyrod, and Lance. Wentz in his first action or Tyrod in his super flex spot? What do you guys think?
I would go Tyrod. He's playing the Jaguars, so their defense is it should still be pretty easy to pick apart. And he's a seasoned vet. He'll definitely do work. They should score. Wentz, I don't know. I'm not a big Wentz fan to begin with, but I would definitely, if I knew he was fully healthy and had the full camp and everything else, I'd probably go Wentz. But a lot of that stuff, he hasn't really practiced much because then he was on COVID after he came back from his foot surgery. So I just think I would want the safer floor in my super flex, which I think is Tyrod.
Yeah, I'm obviously a huge Colts fan, and I have this exact predicament for my second Superflex spot in a dynasty league, and I'm going with Tyrod. You just have to. I mean, like you said, he's playing against the Jaguars. There's should either be a whole lot of scoring or not a lot of scoring in that game, one way or the other. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I want the guy that's been in camp that has. That's going to have to sling the ball everywhere all season long. So for now, let's roll with Tyrod, Chris.
Colts fans. What is there? Is there anything worse than a Colts fan? I'm just kidding. Eagles fans. Eagles fans, Yankees fans. That's two WWs right there. For sure. You said you had a question for us off of the Fusion FFB.
Yeah, and actually, I'm letting Joshua know right now that we're about to bring it up. But it is a tough one. It's for a flex. He doesn't say if it's PPR, but I know Joshua, and chances are it's a PPR. But he has to choose between Sutton, Swift, Brandon Cooks, Devontae Williams, Chase, or Hooper. So a lot of options here. So Sutton, Swift, Cooks, Devontae, Chase, or Hooper.
It would probably come down to Cooks, Swift, and Sutton for me. Oh, you're a Broncos fan?
Oh, I'm the number one Broncos fan. You see that?
I don't know.
That's my claim to fame, buddy. Nobody else has this because they only give this to one person, and that was me. I'm the number one Broncos fan.
But yeah, so it would come down to Sutton, Cooks, or Swift for me. And I don't know, Swift hasn't been at practice. He's still dealing with that groin. I know they took him off the injury report, but I don't like groin injuries, especially ones that keep you out of camp all summer long.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sutton, I really like Sutton, but he's going to be getting some good coverage from Bradbury today. He'll probably end up getting it because Judy will be coming out of the slot, and I don't think Bradbury goes in there. So I would probably say Cooks. I also like safe on week one. I like to make sure I have floor because we're just trying to get through week one. Anything could freaking happen. We try to work it through all off season long, and we want to know who's good and who's bad, and we have no idea when it actually comes down to it. So I'd probably go Cooks.
I think I go Sutton here. I like Sutton a lot. I feel like, I don't like his situation as much as I typically do, but I feel like this week back, he should be coming in strong, coming on hot, and I feel like he's probably not gonna get you like a normal Cortland Sutton day, but I feel like 6 for about 75. Put about, and that's where I've got Cortland Sutton. So I'm starting him where I have him.
I had told him in the chat that I would go with Sutton as well, but after hearing your argument, Alex, I feel like it kind of depends on your team makeup. If you're going into this game and you feel like you already kind of feel like you're down and you need that big play potential, then definitely go with Sutton. If you feel like you need just a safe floor and see where we're at for week one, Brandon Cooks probably is a safer floor, so I would be perfectly okay with that as well.
Well, I think Cooks has TD upside too. I mean, if someone's going to score today, it'll probably be him, you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so another one we got. Would we do Robbie Anderson, Mike Davis, or Jacoby Myers? And this is two guys I've seen a lot in my threads today. Jacoby Myers and Mike Davis. These guys are going to be popping up all over the place.
Okay, well, it will never be Jacoby Myers for me. So, so Mike Davis or who? Who was the other one?
Robbie Anderson.
Definitely Robbie.
Definitely Robbie Anderson.
Yeah.
I feel like Robbie Anderson, and I was on fire for Jacoby Myers at the preseason, especially. I mean, I loved his relationship with Cam Newton. Now we're not going to see that at all anymore. So I'm not too sure how I feel about Jacoby Myers. I definitely want to get on there and see about. And just see what he does this week. I want him on my roster, but I don't think I'm going to be starting him this week. I don't think I can start him quite yet, but I definitely want to have him on my team just to see what he's capable of.
Well, we got this revenge game for Robbie Anderson and Sam Darnold, and I'm super pumped about that. I have a strong feeling that these guys are going to be connecting a lot today.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to I'll go Robbie too. I love Robbie Anderson in general, and especially today. I think that was one of my my star plays in my article, Stars and Scrubs, which might become no-brainers and mundaners or something. But
I like that.
Yeah, I think it was either no-brainers and migrainers, guys, or mundaners. I'm not sure yet, but me and Campy are working on that. We'll figure something out. But Robbie and Darnold were a stack that I promoted in there. Double revenge stack attack because they're both going up against the Jets this week. And Robbie, now that they're using him over the middle of the field, or at least last year they were using him over the middle of the field, him and Darnold already have a connection. I think it's going to be the Robbie show. Maybe throw a couple, screamers down the sideline. Let Robbie score a couple big ones on the Jets since they let him walk. And, so I definitely go with Robbie today too.
Robbie is shaped like a floor lamp as well. So if they're going to use him over the middle too much, then maybe he might not last the whole season. But, hey, for week 1 against the Jets, let's do it.
Well, I mean, they did it last year, and he's pretty good at avoiding the big contact because he's so thin. Right. He can avoid the straight on shots, right. As long as the quarterback gets it to him in stride and where it needs to be. But I think Darnold's more than capable to do that. Teddy is definitely good for that because he likes those just right over the top, get it right where he needs it to. But I think Darnold has the same capability.
Yep, I agree.
I like it. Here's a good one for you. Mostert or Tyson Williams today?
Ooh. I will go. I'm going to go Mostert since he's healthy. Going up against Detroit. When Mostert's healthy, I like to play him, but that's not very often, so you can't play him much. Right. But when he's healthy and it's week 1, he's as fresh as he's going to be. I'd definitely roll with Mostert because he's got that big play ability. Like he gets through the line and he gets through that second, line of defense, and he is off. So he's got a chance for a big touchdown. Definitely the ceiling play. I think they have about the same floor, but just with volume. But Mostert's definitely the ceiling play for me.
Absolutely. Well, let's help out our friend Josh real quick there. Just go ahead and give him the quick rewind there. What did you say, Justin? Because it was kind of basically Alex landed on one, I landed on the other there.
Yeah, so Mike said Sutton. Alex made a compelling argument for Cooks being a safer play. So my thought was if you need the safe play, go ahead and roll with Cooks because he will have the volume. But if you need the big play potential, I really see the possibility for Sutton to break out this year. So maybe it's a week 1 breakout, even though it's against Bradbury. We'll see. But hopefully get that touchdown potential. But unfortunately with week 1, he's probably not going to know if he needs the big play potential, or if he needs and I don't know what time that particular game is. If that's a 1 o'clock game, then you're already just probably playing the safe bet, which would be Cooks, which is against what I told him in the chat. I told him Sutton in the chat because of my thoughts on his ability to break out this season.
And that's exactly why I wanted to have you give that answer right there, because you had shifted your gears on that just because of how well Alex explained that. So I definitely can appreciate the logic behind it. I just that might be the one time I homer pick this year. I'm just really excited about seeing Cortland.
Oh, bullshit. You're going to homer pick every single week.
Dude, it's hard to homer pick for the Broncos when they're as bad as they've been. It's like common logic actually denies you. Like, should I start Drew Lock? And then you kick yourself in the leg going.
No, I count Josh Allen as a homer pick for you. So.
Oh, dude, Josh Allen was that. That's fine. I'll take it. I'll always pick Josh Allen. Like I said, I'm in a 30 copy league, and I drafted 12 Josh Allens, and that's all I'm going to play is Josh Allens in my wide receiver, in my kicker, in my flex, and everything. And I don't care. He might catch a pass, he might not, and I'm not trading him. Like I said, I got all the Josh Allens that I can. How about Ayuk or Gaskin? Gaskin's not a guy where we've talked about too much today, or Ayuk for that matter.
No. I don't know. That's a tough one because Ayuk, he's going up against Detroit, but he's been hampered by injury in camp here too. So I don't know how many, how good he is to go. But Gaskin's got the Patriots. So, and Bill Belichick likes to dial up all the fun stuff, especially it's, Tua's still a pretty green quarterback. So, he's going to draw up all kinds of stuff for him. And they're playing against Brian Flores, who was a Patriots coach. So, Bill's going to try to show him up. So I don't know. That's a tough one. I think I guess I'd have to go Gaskin, but Ayuk. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd have to go Gaskin just because he's going to be the guy today. And he's been practicing and had the preseason reps and stuff. I don't think Ayuk played any of the preseason. If he did, it was just a little bit because was it a quad or hamstring or something? So, yeah, I'm going to go with Gaskin.
I see, and I typically like to go with a volume opportunity. So it's always the running back that I go for when we start talking about volume opportunity. But at the same time, I feel like that volume opportunity doesn't really take effect until call it mid-November, late November. That's when they really start. So I feel like the trend of the NFL, at least in weeks 1 through 6, the past few seasons anyways, has been air it out as much as possible. But the things that bother me about San Francisco is Garoppolo at quarterback. I don't know what it is about San Francisco that I can't get excited about. And I mean, I'm telling you, you saw the #1 Broncos fan. I am a Shanahan fanatic, dude. Shanahan's like a legendary god to us. And so when his son decided he's going to come into the NFL, I was just as on board as I was with the Broncos. I mean, I love that offense. I love how he runs offenses, but it just doesn't seem like he's been able to put that together like he had it in Atlanta, like he does now, or like he's doing here in San Francisco. So I've been just on my edge of my seat waiting to see that Shanahan come back. I think I'm starting Ayuk today, and it's only because this might even be another homer pick, even though I said I'm not going to do that again this year. I gave you at least 35 seconds before I did it again. So,
so for me, it's Ayuk, but only because I do feel like Gaskin's going to have every opportunity to be the guy there in Miami. I don't know that he's going to actually be the guy there in Miami, and I don't know who else it will be. It's just it's Myles Gaskin. They've always found a way to look past him. So for whatever reason, they always tend to look past him. So for me, I'm going to roll with Ayuk because he's exciting and fun to watch. Just as Alex suggested earlier, he has another one of those injuries, one of those leg injuries, but guys like Debo and Ayuk, guys that play the way they do, that play the position they do, are going to have a lot of those kind of injuries. Unfortunately, that's a part of the territory, but I've got to think that they're not going to roll him out in week 1 where it's more affordable to take a loss unless he's ready to go. So So I'm going to go with Ayuk there. And since nope, he's back.
What was the question? Sorry, you're going with Ayuk again?
Yeah, I'm going with Ayuk.
Oh, you're on my train. You're hopping on my train and saying the Ayuk. So Ayuk 2-1. What do we got here? We got Ramondre Stevenson or Ty Johnson? Who would you guys take?
I'm going to have to go with Ty Johnson. He's been a darling of mine for the last couple weeks, probably about the last month. I think he has just as much of a chance to be the lead running back in New York versus Tevin Coleman, and Tevin Coleman stinks. So I think Ty Johnson's going to get that starting job, and I think this is where he's going to showcase it up against Carolina. Carolina's defense is still pretty young. They're trying to rebuild it and revamp it, but it's still pretty young, so there should be some holes in it. I would go Ty Johnson.
I'll be honest, I snuck that one in. That was completely for me. That's so
you're the one asking the question.
Yeah, I'm the question because
I'm leaning Ty Johnson on this one, but I don't like either one of these guys too much today. I got to see it. I'm one of those guys that I just have to see it. And I mean, but again, week one, we can all sit there and pretend that we know anything that's going to happen. You've got defensive coordinators that make $30-40 million a year to make these decisions that are going into this as absolutely clueless as we are. You know, you can have kind of a general idea of what this team's going to be doing, but unless you've been sitting in that training camp or mini camp with them this whole entire time, you'll have no idea what the hell's coming at you. You could have teams that ran the ball for 50 years that come out and decide, we're going to be blazing passers. I mean, so you really can't. I mean, that's why they call it Overreaction Monday. We have zero basis to lay anything down on. It's almost as good as Week 17 fantasy football. Week 1 is almost as random, except we're actually playing with players that we like. Instead, Week 17, we're just kind of throwing darts at the board. This isn't much different, though. I mean, we're just basically throwing darts at the board here until we can kind of see what develops. Is this team still a run team? Are they still a run first team? Are they still a pass team? When they're down at, X, Y, Y, Z, Z, things like that. So,
yeah.
So I think Ty Johnson's just as good as Rondell.
Ramondre.
Sorry, Rondell. I was thinking of
I've been leaning towards Ty Johnson for all the same reasons, but I did pick up Ramondre Stevenson because I feel strongly that by the end of the season he's going to be a household name. But for now, I just don't see him with that opportunity. So I had Ty Johnson in my starting lineup, but this league is extremely running back heavy. I think it was like 28 of the first 36 picks were all running backs.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I took Saquon Barkley because of his end of the season potential that I like. So I'm already kind of, desperate there. But then I also took J.K. Dobbins and Travis Etienne. So, nice. I'm reeling here. So fortunately, I still have James Robinson. So I'm going to have to start Robinson and Barkley this week, and then Ty Johnson in my flex because my running backs are also desperately in rough shape because – I went with Michael Thomas and Will Fuller. I went with end of the season potential across the board in this one because 8 out of 12 teams make the playoffs. So for me, it's all about finishing strong and just getting in. So
yeah, you don't got to edge out much to get that eighth spot typically.
The front half.
It looks like Joe is letting us know Eckler's a full go against Washington football team. Man, I really was hoping they would wait a week. Like, don't go feed Eckler to Chase Young when he's hurting. Like, I want to play Eckler next week and the week after that. But looks like he'll be on the field. He's on the field. Are we starting him, boys?
I actually have this decision in one of my leagues, and I'm starting Robbie Anderson over him. I don't like that it was like a sudden injury. He was working off to the side. I'd rather, like you said, see him in there, not hampered by the injury. And I think Robbie will have a big day anyway. So I don't think I'm losing too much. I don't normally like to sit studs like that, but injury is the one place that I can justify it. So I'm actually going to be starting Robbie over. Yeah.
Especially hamstring. Yeah. That's one that, I mean, you make the right call. You just kind of one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't. He can go out there and score you 40 points today, or he can go out there on 2 plays, retweak that thing, and not come back for 5 weeks. So I'm with you. I'm going to take the guy who's going to be the safest bet right there to me would be Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, me too.
Gotcha. And we got Waddle or Parker. Joe wants to know.
For this week or for the season? So for this week, for me, for this week, it's Parker. And for the season, for me, it's Parker.
Yeah. I'm opposite. I like Parker. I think Waddle for the rest of the season, though.
Yeah, I would do Parker today, Waddle rest of the season.
And then Classic Rich coming in saying, chonies or no chonies? Brother, it's Sunday. You best not have no chonies. That's how it's supposed to be done. Sit back, turn the fan on, get a couple cold beers next to you. Maybe if you've got some friends that can sit there and wave a fan at you. I don't know if that's something that's within your power or not, but that's what I would suggest. And no chonies. But they better be really good friends.
He is a big wig at Frito-Lay's. He could probably just offer one of his guys a little bit of.
That's what I'm saying, right?
But I'll be honest, I don't know what a choni is.
Yeah.
Chonies, man. Chonies, your underwear.
Oh, okay. Well, then you don't want to be hiring dudes to come over and wave fans on you if you're making that dilemma.
Yeah, no, like I said, they better be really, really good friends. That's all I'm saying. Okay, let's see. Here's another good one. We've got. Oh no, we already asked that one. Tyler Boyd, Marvin Jones, full PPR.
Tyler Boyd or Marvin Jones? I think I'm going to go with Marvin Jones. I think Tyler Boyd has enough to contend with between the competition with the other with Higgins and Chase, and then also with Burrow coming back from his injury. We still haven't really seen what that's going to be like. I think that Mixon's going to be the more consistent thing here, which I know it's crazy to say, but he's been with the team. He understands the offense, and if Burrow just isn't quite all the way 100% there yet, they're probably going to lean on him a little more. Marvin Jones, I mean, he's going to be playing in a game that we've all said that we think is going to potentially blow up. So I'm going to go with Marvin.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Marvin too, for a lot of the same reasons. The Bengals were actually one of my migrainers this week because they're going up against Minnesota. Joe Burrow's coming back from that injury. And so I know I say they're going up against Minnesota, and Minnesota's defense wasn't very good last year. They definitely made some moves in the offseason to build that back up. And they also are getting back 2 guys that opted out. I think it was Danielle Hunter and someone else opted out on that line, on the defensive line. So I think their defense is going to be back in full force this year. Zimmer, I'm sure Zimmer did not like that his defense was horrendous last year. So he's doing everything he can to get that back to where it needs to be so he can just run the ball and they can play good defense. So I think Boyd could be hampered by, just by all the different inputs into that situation. So I would probably go Marvin Jones.
Yeah, see, and I feel like I like Marvin Jones a lot this week too. That guy just always has that ability to come out there and do what you don't expect him to do, which is be successful. And he's just always been that guy that gets it done. I think I'm with you. I think I like him. Here's another one. Swift, Lockett, or Deontay Johnson in the flex?
Deontay Johnson. Deontay is that the Steelers are playing Buffalo, and we all know how Buffalo puts points up on the board, and that's by airing the ball out, and they're going to be scoring a lot and scoring fast, and the Steelers are going to have to keep up with it. And Big Ben's arm, if that's what's worrying you, this is the healthiest it's going to be all season long. So take advantage of it now. I recommended everyone try to get all of the Steelers wide receivers into their lineups, however they possibly can, because I think they're all going to have a big day. I think that passing game is going to go off. So I want every chance I can at one of those touchdowns that they're going to score.
Yeah, we've already discussed our concerns about Swift. That's pretty prevalent. And if you have any kind of decent options like these other two, then he's automatically going to get pushed aside for me anyway. And then with Lockett, he's going against a tough Colts defense, and also we don't really know. Like Alex mentioned with Wentz, we don't really know how that offense is going to look right now. We don't know how well he's going to come out and fire. There's a chance that they may not have to sling the ball around a lot. I know they're talking like they're allowing Russell Wilson to just sling the rock anywhere he wants to, and maybe he will. But against the Colts defense, I don't see him having an outstanding performance that's going to really stand out. So I agree with you. I'd go with Deontay Johnson as well.
Yep, and that makes all three of us. I like Deontay Johnson. I know a lot of people lean Lockett in that situation, but I think DK Metcalf has himself a pretty good day today. And outside of that, I'm really not too fond of Seattle too much. I mean, I just don't think it's going to be a very high scoring game. Trevor Lawrence or Baker Mayfield? Here's a quarterback question finally.
We got another one of those in the chat at the bottom too.
Oh, gotcha.
So Trevor Lawrence and Baker Mayfield. Give me Baker Mayfield. As much as I love Trevor Lawrence this week against that weak defense, he's still a rookie. And I've seen way too many, even great quarterbacks, have horrible rookie seasons or even just a horrible start to their rookie season. Give me the guy, Baker Mayfield, against the Chiefs, where they're going to have to throw the ball. They're going to have to score points to stay in it. And if they don't, he's at least going to have a hell of a time trying. So I actually started Baker Mayfield in a lot of leagues this week for that reason.
Excellent. Yep, I'm actually on board with that. I like Baker Mayfield a lot this year. He was in my top 10 quarterbacks, so definitely starting me some Baker Mayfield here.
Yep, that'll make all three of us. I like him. My biggest thing is that he's going against the Chiefs, and he's going to have to. I'm assuming he's going to have to sling it around to keep up with that offense. And I think that James Robinson, I think they put it in his hand a lot for the Jaguars and keep those rookie mistakes down to a minimum. And I think he's going to be the big game in Jacksonville. So I'd probably sit Trevor and get Baker out there. Let's see what he can do.
Excellent. Then we got Matt Ryan or Kissing Cousins.
Matt Ryan playing the Eagles. They did next to nothing to shore up that secondary. So I think it's going to be just as leaky. I mean, Gannon's in there now. They do have a new defensive coordinator, so it'll be interesting to see what they do to try to stop those, Pitts and Ridley in this first week. But I think that Matt Ryan definitely is going to have a bigger day than Cousins.
So I feel like probably 14 of the 17 weeks I'm going to be saying Kirk Cousins, but against the Eagles, it's whatever quarterback is playing against the Eagles. So yeah, let's go with Matt Ryan. It's going to be a pathetic game.
Yeah, I'm with you guys both. I like Matt Ryan a lot. I think Kirk Cousins, I think he's serviceable. I think he still gives you a 20 spot, but I think that Philly defense is just so dreadful. Get me on board with all of them. Definitely get me on board with anybody almost in an Atlanta uniform. I like Calvin Ridley a lot. I like Russell Gage a lot. I'm even trying to get a few pieces of gosh dang it,
Kyle Pitts.
No, not Kyle. Yeah, Kyle Pitts, because I think Kyle Pitts actually has himself a pretty decent day today. But that's going to be a tough one right there. The tight end typically doesn't come out and shoot off like a rocket. So, but I'm still in enough on Kyle Pitts to get it going.
Yeah. Plus, he's a slot receiver.
Yeah. Right.
Which is why
tight
I'm
end,
also
slot receiver.
If you went late round tight end and you have Hayden Hurst, I think he has a good shot for some decent volume in that game as well.
Yep.
Because
Yeah,
like you said, Pitts is going to be the slot, as a slot receiver. So Hayden Hurst is still going to be on the field.
And Hayden Hurst is just such a good guy. I love Hayden Hurst as a person. Like, that dude is just awesome.
And look, we got a Giants fan chiming in saying that a guy playing against the Eagles is going to have a big game. So
he also says Steelers for the upset, which is upsetting that he would think that. That makes me question every decision you've ever made before this one, Joe. I just want you to know that. How dare you think that they can get out there and beat Buffalo, beat my Josh Allen? That is impossible. Impossible. Here's another good one, guys. Claypool or Callaway?
yes.
That's the perfect answer.
You know what? Give me Claypool just because we don't know. We think we know, but we don't know with Claypool. So, with Callaway, but with Claypool, we all have this hunch that they're going to throw the ball. And just like Alex said earlier, I know he was halfway joking, but he was being serious. This is the healthiest that Ben Roethlisberger is going to be all season. So take advantage of it now and then see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You thinking the same thing, Alex?
I don't know. Callaway definitely has a tough matchup against. He's probably going to be going up against Jair Alexander from the Packers. So, but Jameis isn't. That's not going to deter Jameis Winston from trying to force the ball to him either. So, I was actually talking. I was on Twitter. I was talking to someone about because they were saying they were going to bench Callaway this week because of the matchup, and I started thinking about it, and I'm like. Jameis is still going to, unless Sean Payton takes the ball out of Jameis's hand himself, with, just going on the ground. But I don't think they're going to be able to do that because Rodgers is going to come out and put points up. So I think he's still going to have to try to pass it to Callaway because who else is there? Deontay Harris, Adam Troutman. Like those guys aren't big plays waiting to happen. Callaway is he gets one free look and he could have a 40-yard touchdown in blink of an eye. So, but I do want to get all those Steelers in too. That's a tough one for me. But I think I'll stay with Claypool with you guys. I think that game's still more of an opportunity and for points. And Claypool's probably my least favorite Steelers wide receiver, just because he seems like he's going to be very boom bust. So I'd rather have some floor. But it's week 1.
Yeah,
put Claypool in there, and let Ben. Let's see if he can throw that deep shot still.
I agree with everything that you just said, except Troutman is going to be a big play waiting to happen.
We'll see. Let's see if they put him out on routes during the preseason. He was just blocking. He didn't see a single target. I don't think.
He was also injured a lot this offseason too. So, and I'm not saying it's going to happen week 1. That's where the waiting to happen thing is going to happen. It'll be at some point this season, but he'll break out.
Yeah, I like to wait on that one. And I mean, Jair Alexander to me is no joke. Although if you're going to exploit a defense, the only time to really do something like that is about weeks 1 through 3. And then you start getting those decisions solidified. You get the tape being watched and everything like that, which is what we're going to be a huge part of. If you stay tuned with us, is we're going to be tracking a lot of those defensive coordinators. There's a little bit of a scenario we got going on, a little bit of a recipe we got cooking up right now that's going to lead to a lot of victories, I have a feeling. But this is in still the pen and the pad stage. Here's another one that just came in. We got Chase or Waddle. Sorry, Jamal Chase or Jalen Waddle.
I'm going to have to roll out Waddle. I think Chase, like I said, that Bengals offense is going to have a hard time moving the ball. And I don't know if Chase still has the yips and can't catch. So I'm going to risk it with Waddle and see because Fuller's not back yet. He's going to be suspended this game. So it's basically going to be Waddle and Devontae Parker. I know they're playing the Patriots, but I think I'd have to go Waddle.
I'm going to go with Chase, but only because it's so close that I want Mike to be forced to answer this question and break the tie.
I like Waddle a lot today. I don't know exactly that's going to translate to too many points. I just like his situation, but I feel like Parker is just such a target hog, right? Like he just wants to get that ball, and he usually gets what he wants out there. I'm saying I gotta lean. Man, that is tough.
Yeah. I like
That's
to try to
really
keep
tough.
rookies on the bench, as much as I can in the first week, just to see what we're gonna, especially receivers, because they don't usually come on early in the season.
Yeah, no, I'm leaning Waddles. I think I'm rocking Waddle there. That's the one I'm going to lean on too. So Waddle, but man, it's close. But I don't know. I'm with you. I don't really like rookies. What is there like? Trying to think of rookie receivers that have been drafted in like the top, 5 rounds that have done anything.
Justin Jefferson
in like the past 10 years. Like, yeah, Justin Jefferson.
But even Justin Jefferson, the first 2 or 3 weeks didn't really do anything. It wasn't until I think it was week 3 is when he broke out, and then he just kept going. No stops on that train. But
I mean, another thing to consider is that Jamar Chase is playing the Vikings this week, that I do believe have a respectable defense still. So that's something to consider too. So if it's that close, I mean, I may as well go ahead and switch over and make it 100%. So whoever was asking that question, we're all going to go with Waddle just to see what happens, but none of us expect to be necessarily right on this one because it's so close. So should maybe check the waiver wire. Maybe check the waiver wire the free agency and see what's out there. You might have another option.
Yeah, see if there's a vet out there like a Marvin Jones that you could put in there. I'd prefer Marvin Jones over both those guys, I think, today.
Yeah.
So yes, there could be somebody out there, hanging out.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no, but like I said, I mean, the rookie sensation is just, it's too tough for me to grab onto. Usually it doesn't pan out. Typically it ends up with me going, oh man, why did I do that? And so that's why I tried to avoid it. Juju or Cooks? Brandon Cooks.
Quit asking the good
ones. Variety.
Quit asking the good ones, Mike. That's tough.
Hey, these are all good ones.
I'm gonna go with Brandon Cooks this time. Alex, you went first last time, so I'll go first this time so that I can give you time to think about it because I see you thinking too. So I'll go with Cooks for all the same reasons we talked about earlier. I think both of those defenses are weak in that game, and there should be a lot of points scored. So give me Cooks in that game.
Okay, so we got Tyson or Sermon.
Oh, okay.
Tyson Williams or Sermon. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I skip over you on that one? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You skipped over yourself. Justin was the
only just like Justin nailed it. I'm like, Justin nailed it. That's perfect.
Yeah, well, I am going to go with Cooks as well. I'll take the wide receiver 1 on a team over Juju, the slot guy. Yeah, even though I do like the Steelers, as I've said many times today. But I think I would take Cooks over that because he is the top wide receiver on his team. So he should see the majority of the volume. So
yeah, like I said, he just nailed it right on the point. I'm like, yep, I love it.
Move on.
Tyson Williams or Trey Sermon?
I'll go ahead.
I would go Tyson. I think, again, a rookie, especially, Sermon's a rookie. We're not quite sure how they're going to deploy him yet. And Mostert's healthy, so I think he's going to be the main guy. I'm sure Sermon will see some field time. But while Mostert's healthy, I think I'm going to sit back on Sermon and let that develop because, Mostert he'll probably be injured by week 4 anyway. So then you can roll out Sermon. No worries. So I think I'd stick with Tyson. I think he's got that job on lock, at least for week 1, like that. He's going to get all the volume he can handle.
Yeah, but I love me some Trey Sermon this season, long term. I don't think he barely sees the field today. I think it's going to be a Mostert day. I mean, let's be real. Mostert will probably only play the first half, maybe the first 3 quarters, and then he's going to take 4 or 5 weeks off on the IR. So get him in while you can get points. But I'm not that dependent on it to put in Trey Sermon quite yet.
Yeah, it's definitely Tyson for me for week 1. Or Tyson, sorry. But yeah, Mostert's just too good.
Yep, I agree.
What are you looking at, Mike?
Agree. Dude, there's like this weird bug that just flew into my house right now, and it just landed like right above where my light is. And I was just trying to gauge of whether or not it's a Florida bug that wants to kill you or just hang out with you. And
no, bro, I'm starting to worry about what you had in that morning cup of coffee before.
Yeah, never you worry. We got to get on half PPR flex. Gordon or Chenault? Finally, some Chenault questions.
We got Adam Gase in the house. Look at him.
Like get the blinks in as quick as I can.
You gotta get the crazy eyes. That's it. That's the look. That right there.
Well, I'm not even joking. This thing's got like really weird wings or something like that. I'm really just, like I said, I just don't want it to come land on me and sting me because everything in Florida is trying to kill you, even plants.
But that could be great for the ratings.
Yes. Touche. Yeah. For that sells videos, I guess I'll martyr.
I know I'll watch it 1,000 times. What was the question again? I don't know.
Yeah, I got to even go back to that. I don't even remember.
It was
Melvin Gordon or Laviska Shenault?
Laviska Shenault. I'm not a Melvin guy. I think that Javonte right out the gate is going to get a lot of opportunity. Obviously, I don't think it'll be a split. It won't be 50-50. It might be 70-30. But I think Javonte will be able to show early and often that he's already a better and more capable back than Melvin Gordon. So Laviska Shenault, with ETN going down, I think Laviska is going to shift over into that role where he's going to be a hybrid type player. He's going to get a few carries, some end arounds. They're going to find ways to get the ball into his hands. He's one of the few amazing playmakers that T-Law has at his disposal. And they're playing Houston, which also helps.
Absolutely agree with that. Got a new question in here. Howard Kim says, great content, guys. Joe Knows recommended the show. He says, Lockett or Marvin Jones? So we can't let this guy down. Justin, what say you?
Let's go with – all right, so I already said that I felt like Seattle wasn't going to necessarily – they weren't going to be able to sling the rock like they're hoping for the rest of the season against the Colts defense, and they may not necessarily need to. But at the same time, it's that or Marvin Jones. I want to go with the talent here over the potential opportunity share. So I'm going to go with Lockett for this one.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Lockett too. Just like you said, I think Lockett's definitely the better talent. I can't sit him for Marvin Jones. It would have to be I'd have to know in advance that Lockett wasn't going to do anything to put him in over Marvin Jones, or to put Marvin Jones in over Lockett. So I'm going to go with Lockett too.
Yep, and that makes all three of us there, Howard. I like me some Lockett today. I do, like I was saying with DK Metcalf, I do believe he'll be the central focus of that. I don't see a lot of scoring there, but I think it's going to give you about a 6 for 70, 6 for 80 kind of a day. I don't see him getting in the touchdown, but on the flip side of that, I think Marvin Jones will probably give you like a 4 for 30, 4 for 35, somewhere in that window. So if that helps you out as far as the PPR balance goes, it just is a slight edge for me to go with Lockett. And usually when I'm like this low on Lockett, the guy goes out there and scores 4 touchdowns, just to forewarn you. We got the coach checking in. Looks like he's maybe got a little bit of the Benjamin Button going on, wearing a hard hat there or something like that. He had longer hair last time I saw him anyway.
That's my guy Emmett. We got to meet. We had the privilege of meeting Emmett at the at Canton when we went for the Fantasy Football Expo. That dude
that's awesome.
Is the coolest 10-year-old, 11-year-old that you will ever meet.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, incredible.
And then we got, I think this is Uncle Steve, correct?
Yep, the infamous Uncle Steve. Yep.
Checking in. So what's happening, Uncle Steve? Welcome to the show. Okay, we'll get back into a few of these other questions that we got over here from the Twitter. We got Judy Ayuk or Mike Davis?
That's a tough one. I think it would be between Judy and Mike Davis for me. Just because, like I said earlier, Ayuk wasn't really practicing with that, leg injury. So, but Judy and Davis have been there, and I think they're going to be the volume plays. But I think I'm going to go Mike Davis as the true volume play, and the the safer. I think he'll have the safer floor and might have the higher ceiling, just because they're playing Philadelphia. So I kind of want any Falcons I can get into my lineup. So I'm going to go with Mike Davis.
Same for me.
Excellent. And same here, actually. I like Mike Davis. It's that's the other thing about week one is you end up definitely seeing yourself agreeing a lot more than a guy would like to agree with each other because, again, it's week one, man, and you can say whatever you want. You can analyze however you want. You don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, people that get paid 50 million times more than we do to do this for a living don't know what's going to happen today. They're going to go out there and they're going to get the same surprise. Like, what if Aaron Rodgers comes out and just checks down to Aaron Jones every single play, never throws his one long bomb, and they turned into a running game overnight, something to that effect. This is all stuff that's happened, especially if you look at, like, say, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were a really balanced run-at-you attack until about 3 or 4 years ago. Once they lost Le'Veon Bell and they had to kind of start shifting their ideology and their skill set towards somebody that didn't have that kind of a running ability, they started passing more and things like that. And so, I mean, you can prep for one thing, but they're going to throw everything else possible as they can at you. And they might even be doing that just to set up the next defensive coordinator too. So that's the other game you get to play with these defensive coordinators. It's really fun. But like I said, once you start getting those little intricacies that these guys are doing, you start getting a lot of good competitive edges. And that's why sticking with us is going to get you through this season, guys. I'm telling you, especially the later we get, the more and more that these guys start analyzing stuff, we're able to get in there and analyze kind of what they're looking at, the same approaches, and we'll be able to tell you, hey, don't start this guy this week. And I don't care who that guy is. I'll tell you to sit some of the best people out there. Like this week, Swift, we're sitting Swift because it's just not a good opportunity. You're always supposed to start your studs, always start your first, second rounders. But that's not the case, guys. We want to win. We want to win week to week. We want to get this done. You don't start people out of pride unless it's Josh Allen and you can do it 12 times, including your kicker and flex positions.
Or Zeke against the Bucks, because I did that all over the place. And I probably should have. But
as a Ronald Jones owner, I salute you, man. Well, I've got
I had Rojo too. I have Rojo all over the place too. But I'm like, I can't sit Zeke. I took him 5th overall. I'm not sitting him. I don't care who he's playing. I saw it coming, but I still rolling him out. What are you gonna do? It's week 1.
Yeah. And just to throw it out there, if the Packers do become a run-heavy offense out of nowhere and they start dumping it off all the time to Aaron Jones, you heard it here first, and you're welcome to help support the show at patreon.com/toilets and titles, because no way in hell that's going to happen. If it did, it's just because Mike is a prophet of some sort.
I like this. Johnny Shep says it best. The coach says it best. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Mike Tyson. Coach Sheps, the tag on the bottom of the tag.
Like Tyson Williams. That's all we've been talking about this morning. Tyson Williams. A whole lot of Tyson Williams questions.
Tyson, Tice off. That's what I always say. No, it is like when we kind of knew it going into this. We talked about this a little bit. Whoa. I just jumped right off the show. We talked about this a little bit ahead of time there, and we were saying that, there's going to be a lot of Tyson. We're going to see, I thought, a lot of Mike Davis questions too, and that's been pretty much the primary. And then I'll sprinkle in a little Callaway and some Mostert, and that was basically the day. What are we flexing? We got a half-point PPR. We got Corey Davis, Claypool, Callaway, or Shark. Wow, I haven't heard DJ Shark's name all season long except on my teams.
I'm sorry for you. Shark is definitely out for me. I think it kind of boils down. Who was the first one?
Claypool.
Claypool.
Claypool, Callaway.
Claypool, Callaway, Davis, and Chark. Corey Davis.
Oh, Corey Davis. Yeah. I like the Jets today too. But I think it comes down to Claypool and Callaway, and I think we figured that out, and I'm gonna go with Claypool.
And for me, it comes down to Claypool and Corey, and I feel like I'm going to go with Corey in this one. Corey Davis.
That's funny because you were saying it as I was thinking it. I'm actually on Corey today too. I think Corey Davis has himself a fairly decent day, especially. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the other guys. Gosh dang it! Why am I like just missing on all my names.
Crowder?
The guys that I just love. Yeah, Crowder he's still out with COVID, correct?
Yeah, he's out.
Yes,
He's out
yes.
today.
Yeah, but I thought so. I knew he wasn't going to be making it today. So yeah, I love him today. I like me some Corey Davis. That changes when he gets back in there. Deontay Johnson or Mostert PPR from Rich.
Zach Moss is inactive for today against Pittsburgh.
Oh,
I did not see that one coming.
yeah, I did not either. Did that just flash across?
It just came up on the Sleeper app. So,
wow.
So before we get to this question, I have a question for you. No, actually, you know what? Get to this question first, and then I'll find that league.
Okay.
Yep. There you go. Deontay Johnson or Mostert PPR.
Well, this is tough. I mean, I love Deontay Johnson. I think he's going to have a huge day, but Mostert is a bomb waiting to go off too. But I think I'm going to go with Deontay Johnson. Especially if it's PPR? I think he has a great chance for a nice high floor, but also a good ceiling with some TD upside.
Yeah. So for me, it's Mostert for sure. But you want the running back that's going to have the safer floor and the more opportunities, in my opinion.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say there too. Yep, and Rich says, Chark going to surprise you today. I'm with you, Rich. I've got, like I said, the only place where I've got him is on my teams because I got him literally free in the 16th, 17th round in some cases.
For a reason.
And then Corey Davis going off, Uncle Steve. Yeah, for a reason, but I'm going to love that reason here later today. I'll tell you what. Coach laying it down and then laying down exactly everybody's thoughts right there. Like, why is Zach Moss inactive? Have we got anything on that yet? Have we heard anything there? I just know that he is. I'm looking it up right now while you guys talk.
And I found that league, but that because I feel like that makes Devin Singletary extremely interesting, being that he'll be the lone guy. But it's either him or Darrell Henderson against Chicago. So I'm going to go with Darrell Henderson against Chicago over Singletary against Pittsburgh anyway. So I don't have a question, but I am very curious to see what's going on with the Zach Moss news for sure.
Yeah, it definitely bumps Singletary up. Maybe we'll see a little bit of Matt Breida. I think he's still on Buffalo. But I would recommend sitting if you can, the Bills running backs. I made that recommendation in my article, actually. I think that Steelers defense is still legit. So like I said, I think they're going to be putting points up on the board through the air. Dable said he wants to pass even more this year than he did last year, which I don't see how that's possible. But I'd probably try to get Singletary off, even with the additional volume. I still don't think there's going to be much running room.
Yeah, especially signing that mega deal with TJ, man. He's back. He's going to be fully going. Oh man, that's tough. I'm telling you. I think I agree. I think I'm like, I have to agree with that. Yeah, and Moss being down, I feel like that's a bigger bump to the passing game in general, because now they're only going to have, and we know they don't, they're not the biggest fan of Singletary, otherwise they wouldn't have drafted Zach Moss, the year after they took him. So I think this is even bigger bump to all the passing, both passing games, keep it in the air. It's going to be off the ground. I have Najee in a couple spots, and it worries me because I can see him getting to the goal line and using him, but I think the main part of this game is going to be in the air through all the different receivers, all the crazy good receivers on the field today.
Yeah. Do we have the news yet on Zach?
Right, so everything I'm looking at is we can't believe it's happening, but that's about the only thing I've got so far. He was nursing an injury in camp the last 2 weeks or month or something. I wasn't even sure if he was going to play in the preseason games. He was out there a little bit.
Ian Rappaport just tweeted out 4 minutes ago that the Bills make running back Zach Moss inactive, and he is not injured.
Yeah, so so he tweeted 2 days ago, Zach Moss himself says, they're trying to do me dirty, but it's okay, I'll prevail. So maybe we got a trade in the works going on here or something like that we're just not paying attention to.
Yeah, maybe they don't want to see him get injured right before they plan on trading him.
Maybe, or maybe they did see something more out of Singletary, and
well, that's not it.
Yeah, that's really strange though. I'm like, that's it came out of nowhere on everybody, I think, right there. But man, I guess maybe we got something going on there. We got Coach asking Callaway or Gabe Davis PPR, and with this one, I'm actually going Callaway. How about you guys?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Callaway as well. Davis might see an uptick now in usage because they're not even playing Zach Moss, so it looks like they're abandoning the run before the game even starts, like the Cowboys did. but yeah, no, I'm gonna have to go with Callaway. I think, like I said earlier, another point on the Jair Alexander matchup. Jair doesn't shadow. He doesn't travel all. He's not gonna stick with one guy all game long. He'll travel sometimes, but he's a right side of the field kind of guy. So for the most part. So I don't think he'll be on Callaway every single play. So he should definitely get some space sometimes.
Give me Gabe Davis. I'm big on this guy. I was huge on him all offseason. I love the way he finished the season last year, and I love the targets that he was getting, and they were clean and efficient targets. So I think he's going to have a great rapport with the one and only Josh Allen. So give me Gabe Davis.
Rich says Moss to Baltimore, maybe. I'm like, why not? Like everybody else is going there.
Yeah, maybe Murray came in and they were like, oh God, this guy's cooked. We need someone else.
Hey, I did find where this news helps me. So now, because I had Zach Moss and Singletary in this league, and I was starting Chase Edmonds over him. Chase Edmonds is playing Tennessee. I think I might actually go with Singletary here against Pittsburgh in this one over Chase Edmonds just because of the sheer volume.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be the only guy back there getting the ball. I guess you still got Breida up there too, doing what he does best, and that's just robbing fantasy players of their value. So I don't know. I still think, I think I like Singletary enough to do that. I don't know. Pittsburgh defense does scare me though.
Yeah, I really like Singletary. I think he's better than what he shows on the field, which sounds weird now that I say that. But
well, I mean, I feel the same way about Darnold. So yeah, but possible. I know what you're saying.
But I think I'd roll with Edmonds in that case. I think him and Connor are going to be fighting for that 1A, and he's going to want to show up.
So in other words, you guys don't help me at all.
Is it Is it full point PPR?
I'm just trying to make sure you're not playing me in this league that you're talking about.
It's full PPR. Well, honestly, it's in a league that it's a very weird setup. It's based on college rules, so you can only have a player for up to 4 years, and then nobody can have them. Like there's no trading. You can drop them, and they become transfers. It's an insane league. But I just took it over, and it's in rough shape, so I'm probably going to be losing anyway. Right now, I'm just trying to get wins so that I can get to my destination school. Right now, I'm coaching for the Washington Huskies. Eventually, I'd like to get to Notre Dame, so I got to get enough wins under my belt to get to that point. But yeah,
there you go.
But yeah, full PPR.
How are we feeling about Mooney today?
I mean, Mooney. We just said that Chicago is playing who again?
The Rams.
Yeah.
At the Rams, I think.
Yeah. That's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one, and we don't know the quarterback situation overall. But for today, I guess I like Mooney. I like Mooney on the season about as much as I like Gabriel Davis, and I got both of them in a lot of leagues. And when I drafted them, I would draft one in the 10th and one in the 11th, and then the next draft it would be the other way, and I draft the other one in the 11th, and then the first one in the 10th. So whatever it was, like I have a lot of both of them because I do believe in both of them, but I'm a little bit more leery on Mooney in the beginning until he figures out this quarterback situation.
Yeah, I'd rather try to wait it out on Mooney if I can. Like you said, wait till Justin Fields is in there and can sling the ball. But with Allen Robinson going up against Ramsey maybe Mooney will be the guy open. Or see, that's where I think Kmet comes in. I think Kmet's going to have a half decent day, just being the security blanket over the middle for Andy Dalton when Donald's bearing down on him play after play.
Hey, we have another one here that answers some of these start and sit questions from earlier. Trey Sermon is also inactive.
Yep, absolutely. It makes it easier. We got Uncle Steve asking Singletary, Williams, or Watkins today.
Sammy, week 1 superstar.
Yep, you always play Sammy Watkins week 1. Just don't ever play him week 2.
You won't have to. He'll be out.
Right, fair enough. Yeah, for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly, though, I think I'd trot Watkins out there and see what he can do. Because he does have big week 1s for some reason. I know that's not a great reason to start someone, but it's week 1, you know.
It's as good as any reason, like as far as week 1's concerned. Like I said, you can sit there and pretend, but and there's Austin Eckler is officially active. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up on that note. Love everybody for following us today and coming on board and joining us for all the questions. We will be back every week, 10:30 to 12:30, to answer all your start-sit questions, guys. We have got you covered all the way down to the end of the season. We're going to get you from the toilet to the titles, and we're going to do it in fine style. Alex, Justin, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Look forward to next week. Everybody else, thank you so much for coming on, and you guys have yourself a heck of a day. Let's win. Let's